Well, welcome everybody. Happy New Year. Good to see everybody. Yay. Who's excited about 2024? Me. Wow. Okay. Glad to see so much excitement. I am Priscilla. Welcome to our L3 ladies. Please come up to me if I haven't met you. Would love to say hello and get to know you a little bit. And to all of the misfits here tonight, great to have you here. If you are talking while I'm talking, you do burpees. That's just one of the things we do. So considering it's our team who's talking, you might like to see them do burpees. It's very entertaining. Um, but welcome. I am so excited to do this with you guys tonight. Thank you all for being here. This is actually one of the best turnouts we've had, and we're so great to have the L3 ladies here. Super awesome. Hey, everybody give them a hand, especially if they did the workout tonight and they had no idea what they were getting themselves into. That's pretty impressive. So what we're going to do tonight, you guys, is this is my jam. I absolutely love the new year. I absolutely love goal setting, goal achieving, but more importantly, helping others realize their dreams and realize their goals, and not just fitness related, but in all areas of their lives. So here we are. It's a new year, fresh calendar page. This month, most of the world is dreaming big dreams of this nice, fresh new year. Reminds me of 2020, and we didn't know anything that was happening. But so are we, right? That's why you're here tonight, right? You're here because you want to see something different for yourself, something better, and achieve some big goals this year. But before we get into this goal crushing strategy session, I do have to give you a pretty fair size warning, a huge warning, in fact, okay? First of all, do not set any goals. No New Year's resolutions. No saying I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to make some plans. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to stop a business. I'm going to, recommit myself to my workouts. I'm going to listen to my coaches. I'm going to get up early. I'm going to go to bed earlier. All these things. Don't try to improve your marriage, pay off your debt. None of that stuff. Because none of you are thinking any of those things, right? Nobody is. Okay. Unless you are seriously committed. And I'm talking about I will not do anything else. I will not stop until I achieve this goal. I'm talking about whatever it takes type of serious. And why do I say that? Because you say, I'm committed now. This year is my year. I am committed. Now, here you are. You're committed, right? But let's get real now. Have you ever looked back at your goals from the other years and like, I didn't do any of that, Chuck. I didn't do any of that. I almost said something else. So what's going to be different this time? What is going to be different this time? Because you've heard the definition of commitment before, right? What is that? Doing what you say you're going to do long after the mood that you're in has left you. You guys ever heard that? Right. So what are you going to rely on when your mood changes? Because none of us have mood changes. Right? Okay. Or you lose motivation. Anybody ever lose motivation? Yeah. Or what about the inevitable drift? You start off really good and then we drift, right? Does that ever happen? But here's the thing, guys. It's not your fault, actually. Okay. So this was going to be positive. Like, what is she talking about? Already, I haven't even started writing my goals. No, I just want to encourage you. It's actually not your fault. Okay. It's actually the human condition. Honestly, for the most part, we humans kind of suck at committing to anything, really. I mean, think about it, if you really think about it, right? Discipline and commitment by willpower, they're going to fail us. And they do fail us. Okay. So most people, and I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, most people do fail at their New Year's resolutions, or in some way, like they don't really achieve them fully. Okay. And so this begs the question, okay, what are we going to do to tackle this human weakness that we have? All right. So this is why I'm going to do this with you today. Okay. They're like, okay, hopefully there's an answer, or what am I doing here? I'm just going to eat some snacks and we're done socializing. Okay. So, but we got three things, okay, that will help us create a workaround for this deficit that's naturally built in us as human beings. Okay. Number one is external force. External force. So what do I mean by that? Okay, Newton's first law taught us what? we're going to remain at rest unless we're compelled to change by what? By an external force, by the action of an external force. Okay. This is why people hire personal trainers, coaches, therapists, counselors, an external force, right? You need an outside force to break your inertia. Okay. So, because our natural tendency is to make excuses and procrastinate. Anybody ever hear procrastinating on any goal ever? No. Okay, never, ever. Of course, we all struggle with that. So lucky you, Team Misfits is here to help you, okay? Whether you're a misfit or not. All right, this is what we do. We love to coach ladies to break their inertia. For example, like ladies who are in our workouts in our community, heck, just by our online software where you have to schedule a session. And if you don't, we are calling you. Okay, that is part of our system to keep you on track. Simple things like that. That's just one example. Okay, that helps break that inertia, and it's an external force, right? You're not relying on your own, just your own strength and abilities. Okay, the second thing to help us, again, we're trying to get a workaround about this human weakness that we have to not follow through, and procrastinate, is a system. Okay, you need a proven step-by-step system, some goal achievement system, right? But it's got to be simple and easy so that you can follow it. All right, you need a simple, easy system that you can follow. Who's ever done some kind of goal achievement system before? Raise your hand if you have. Okay, a lot of you. Okay, right. If it had like 15 steps, did you have success? Like, I've had a lot of steps? No, and sometimes it can be really complicated, honestly, and there's a lot. In fact, what we're going to be doing is based on a program called Living Your Best Year Ever by Darren Hardy that my husband and I have done for many years. And it's a book that's like this thick, and an audio program that takes many days, and a full weekend of planning. It's a lot, okay? So I took that and I simplified it for you guys to make it super easy, something that's very easy for you guys to do, okay? And when I was in my early 20s, I've always been a little bit of a, I don't know, over planner, underachiever is more like it. I used to write 4 to 5 pages, single spaced, typed of goals. Can you believe that? But I had no strategy. I'm just like, this is what I'm going to do and I didn't like to look back at it at the end of the year because I had to maybe achieve like half a page, if that, that's a lot. Okay. So that was not a good strategy or system. The third thing, and I'm super excited about this because we're going to apply this tonight, is associations. What do I mean by associations? I'm talking about accountability, but I'm talking about a group of like-minded allies. A supportive system that you guys going in the same direction, spurring each other on towards the same things. I see you back there. And guess what? Look what we have here. We've got our amazing Misfits community and our incredible L3ers. Like, what a powerhouse of women right in this room. How awesome is that? Woo! Yeah, this is so exciting. We have to do this every year. This is so exciting. So you are going to have the opportunity to connect with an accountability partner. We're locking these doors. Okay. We work out for a living, so we will not let you go through the doors. Okay. Until you have an accountability partner before you leave. Okay. Ladies at home, we are going to do a separate follow-up workshop to ensure that you guys have an accountability partner. And we are doing that next Thursday. So we are going to take care of you. Okay. So those are the 3 things, okay? So let's talk about this goal-crushing blueprint. And this is going to be fast. It might look like a lot, but I promise you, remember, it's got to be simple. You're not going to do it, all right? It's going to be separate, and I'm going to give you some examples to help you through this, okay? So, and this is something you can use every week. So if you didn't fill out one of the registration forms when you came in, make sure you do that when you leave, those of you who are visiting tonight, because we would love to have your email. We're going to send you the soft copy. I'm also going to send you a replay. So we're recording it. If you want to share it with an accountability buddy or your partner or whomever, feel free to share this video. I'm going to send it to all the misfits, and we will do this follow-up workshop. So if you'd like to invite a friend, if you'd like to do it again, if you'd like to find a buddy, whatever, we're going to be doing it again next Thursday, but it will be over Zoom. Okay. So let's talk about this blueprint, which I do not have in front of me. We're going to separate into 3 areas of your life. Okay. So the first section is your banner goals for the year. Okay. Banner goals for the year. So what does that mean? Okay. So thank you so much. So you want to ideally separate it into 3 different areas of your life. So let me give you some areas. Okay. There's financial, mental, physical, emotional, relationships. That can be family, that can be your marriage. So relationships. I know I forgot one. Business or career. Okay. One last one is lifestyle. Lifestyle. That could be like traveling, or maybe there's something nice you want to buy for yourself, or a new home, a bigger home. So lifestyle, how you want your lifestyle to be. Okay. So those are the different areas. I'll say it one more time. Okay. So you've got emotional, you've got relationships. All right. You have financial, career, so business or your job. Okay. You have spiritual, I didn't mention, physical, and lifestyle. So out of those, okay, now, of course, you can do many more, but remember, we've got to keep this simple. Okay. So for tonight, what we're doing here, 3 banner goals for the year. Okay. Ideally, you want to do them in different areas like wellness, financial, and relationship. You don't want to be myopic. Okay. Now, what I mean by myopic is, for example, let's say your goal is financial. You want to pay off debt. Maybe you have student loans, credit card debt. So you're focusing on, like, I want to pay off my loans. I want to, work more hours so I have more money to pay off my loans. And, I'm going to, I don't know, get a second job, or reduce my expenses, something like that. All of it related to financial. Sounds like a horrible year, but you're going to pay off your debt. You're going to pay off your debt, but what happens? Like let's say you plan to work out the extra hours. You're going to eat out less. You're going to cut out entertainment, all these different things. Well, how's your relationship going to be? Like if you're married, or, have a spouse or have a partner, whatever, like if you're working that much more and you're not doing anything fun, that's going to hurt your relationship, right? So you want to think holistically. You want to maybe you do a relationship goal and a financial goal. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that's not all like business, career, financial, but that you have different categories. Okay. Now let me give you an example of how to break this down. You have the 3 banner goals, ideally 3 different areas. Then you have top 3 goals for the quarter. So for example, let's say your goal, I'm going to use very simple just to give you some ideas. Okay. Let's do the first one is the physical goal. Let's say you want to lose 30 pounds. Okay. So this is super, super simple, right? It's numbers. So you got 30 pounds. So your goals for the quarter, let's say it's lose 15. By the way, eradicate is a better word because losing implies you might find them again. So say eradicate if that's one of your goals. Okay. My husband's like, obliterate. Okay. That sounds great too. Okay. Just completely explode them off. Okay. So let's say for the quarter, it's 15. Like you want to lose 15. You want to eradicate 15. All right. It doesn't mean you have to use the whole year for your banner goal. If you want, you can always mid-year set a new banner goal. Okay. So let's say you want to lose 15. All right. And plus, I've never met a woman who wants to lose weight slowly. So why do it in a year when you could do it in 3 months? Right. And then, so what would you put for the month? What would you put for the month? If it's 30 and then the quarter you want to drop 15, then what would you do for the month? 5. Exactly. You got to see how easy. So that's a little math, right? Let's use a different example that's not weight loss related. Okay. Let's use that you want to read more. Read more. Now we're going to get into SMART goals, which you've all heard. I'll just briefly touch on them as we go here. But read more is pretty vague, right? You want to be more specific, which is part of the SMART goals, right? Specific. So let's say your goal is read 12 books in a year. Well, you can see where this is going, right? Goals for the quarter. How many books are you going to read? Multiplication. Okay. Right. 3, which means in a month, you're going to read One book, that's your goal. Okay, so simple, right? The last one, let's use that financial goal that I mentioned, okay? So let's say, you want to pay off all your debt, like your credit card debt, your student loans. Like maybe you've been working on it for a while. You're like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to do it. I'm done. Let's say, for example, it's $30,000, just to use a kind of a round number, $30,000. Okay. It's a quarter. You're going to pay off $7,500, which then is $2,500 a month. Okay. But now we want to do, it's specific, it's measurable. Is it achievable though? Think about that. Is it achievable? Or you're going to have to sell your dog and maybe one of your kids in order to make that happen, right? So you want to make sure it's achievable. You want to think about, what needs to happen in order to do that. Okay. So for those of you who might need a refresher on SMART goals, they're specific, measurable. Okay. They need to be quantifiable. Can't be vague, right? Achievable, relevant, and time bound, which is all built in right here because we have the time bound built in. Okay. So now let's get into how we're going to make this work for you on a weekly basis, okay? So for the priorities for the week, okay? So goal number 1, now you're looking at the month. So we went from year to quarter to month. Now we're going down to your week, okay? So, and please be filling this out as something strikes you. Go ahead and write it out as we're talking, okay? So goal priorities for the week. So let's go back to the example of eradicating 30 pounds, okay? So what are the priorities I need to have this week? This is a Tuesday, which is awesome. Like the week has barely started. Maybe you do have some kind of a wellness goal, okay? What would be a priority? Three, but it doesn't have to be 3. You have space for 3, not 4, overachievers. 3, because I do the 4. I'm like, what? 3, but hey, if you're like, this is overwhelming, I'm lucky if I get 1, go with the 1, okay? So here are some examples, like what priorities do I need this week going forward? Prep my meals, maybe on, tomorrow or Sunday or twice, that's one of your habits that you're going to do, okay? Or exercise 2 times. Maybe for you, you haven't exercised since Christmas. You put exercise 1 time. Guess what? If you exercise tonight, hey, you can check that off the list. Woo! You already did that one, okay? Or maybe it's, go to bed by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. because it's hard for your body to lose it. You're like, sheesh, 9 p.m. wouldn't that be nice? It's hard to lose weight when you don't sleep enough. Okay, so maybe that's it. Okay, does that make sense? Are you tracking with me? Okay, so, and we'll do some questions at the end to make sure you guys have it all, okay? Okay, so the next one is like, let's say the second one, all right? The second goal, and again, as things come to your mind, please be writing this down, but I'm just using those examples, right? We talked about the reading. Anyone want to read more this year? Yeah, kind of a few of you. Okay, that's one of my goals. I struggle with reading because I go to bed late. So I have this joke, but my husband's like, did you get past the front and back page cover? Because one time I'm like, I'm going to read. I sat down, I read the inside flap and I fell asleep. So I'm like, okay, I've got some work to do there, but maybe, you want to listen to some audiobooks while you're walking or something. Hey, exercise and the book at the same time, things like that. So think about ways you can even combine some of those. Okay. So, we talked about, all right, you want to read more? Well, this week, what do you need to do? You need momentum, right? So maybe you just need to choose the book, or maybe you need to sign up for Audible, or maybe you need to order the book off of Amazon, something like that. Okay. Do you see how this gives you a little bit of momentum, right? Not a huge task, but it moves you forward. Okay. And then, by the way, all right, in that example, let's say you buy the book. The following week, it's obviously your priorities are going to change, right? You already bought the book, so it's not going to be the same thing. You start a new habit, like read the first 5 pages, read the inside flap. Okay. That's an achievement for me. Okay. So something like that. Okay. And let's use the last one. Anybody have some financial goals for this year? Financial goals? Okay. I figured we'd have a few hands up. Yeah, I have some major financial goals myself. So, maybe it is the, pay off the balance of my student loan or something like that. Okay. So some ideas. of things you can do for those priorities. Maybe you need to write a debt snowball. Maybe it's a bunch of debt. You've got different things. You really want to start tackling it. You write your debts from largest to smallest. You write down the interest rates, which ones have the highest interest rates, and you start to make a plan. Maybe that you haven't even done that yet. So maybe that's the thing to get the ball rolling. Maybe you need to make an extra payment. You're just like, I don't have time to do that this week. Just write a check for $200, $300, $1,000, whatever you can, to get some momentum going, get yourself going in the direction of paying off the debt. All right. Or maybe you want to create a budget, determine what you can realistically pay. So you can start thinking about, okay, I'm not going to, if I want to pay off $30,000, this is that's not going to make it. Okay. What do I need to do? Maybe you need to start thinking through that. Okay. So those are your priorities, some actions that move you forward, that give you some momentum and move you forward. Okay. All right. I'm going to get to the vortex in a minute. Okay. The main thing here you guys want to create is momentum. Does that make sense to you with breaking down these habits into these 3 priorities? Yeah? Okay. Perfect. Okay. Now, the devil's vortex. This thing is evil, and we all get sucked in to the devil's vortex. Can anybody guess what the vortex is? Maybe take a guess. Kind of. We're getting there. I'll focus the camera a little bit. Getting there, kind of. It plays into it. It's all the other things. All the other things. It's everything you should do, you need to do, you're voluntold to do. All those things, right? The things that have 0 influence or 0 impact on your 3 banner goals. Like, put the freaking Christmas stuff away. Somebody to do this for me. Does anybody else like cleaning somebody else's house? Because if you do like that, please come talk to me. Why does it have it there until July? He loves Christmas. We have to fight about putting the Christmas stuff away every year. Ugh. So Christmas stuff, that has nothing to do with reaching. You guys can relate, huh? You guys are talking about it, like dealing with the Christmas stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I've got Christmas for days. Cleaning the house, a never-ending rabbit hole endeavor. And then when you're sick or injured, nobody else cleans it but you. Right? Thank you. Right? Nobody, you're like, you have to be there to get them, somebody to clean it for you. And if your cats would clean your house for you, that would be so nice, wouldn't it? All they do is make a mess instead, right? Laundry, the never-ending piles of laundry, and so forth and so on, even stuff like cooking, research, like you're looking, it's like, okay, I know I got to work on these financial goals. Let's talk about the vacation we're going on in June. That's just so much more fun, isn't it? It's so much more fun to plan my vacation, Okay. So that is the devil's vortex. The interesting thing, and this is one thing I love about this system, is there's actually 3 lines for it. Okay. You probably have about 55 lines, but there's 3. The things that are like in your brain, like the freaking Christmas every year for me, that's the thing for me. You put it on there. Okay. You put it on there. Now you're aware, like it's there. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to do that. But you don't want to focus on it. All right. You have to make a plan around it. So there's basically 3 Ds. You either delete it, you just don't do it. Maybe you don't do it this week. Maybe you don't do it this month. Maybe you don't do it this year. You delegate it, pay my redheaded stepchildren to do it. Or you do it during planned free time, which is fine. Maybe Sunday afternoon, you're like, oh, I really want to plan my vacation. Gives me some hope for all this debt payoff I'm doing. Fine. But don't do that on Friday morning when you're supposed to be making client calls or whatever. Does that make sense? Doesn't mean never do it. It just do it when it makes sense to do it, not when you actually should be doing your priorities. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. By the way, why are we doing that? Why do we do that when we want to achieve these goals, but yet we focus on those stupid things that we feel like we have to get done because these feel sometimes can feel a little bit more daunting, a little bit hard. It was easy to sit there and fold laundry and watch a show, right? Yeah, I caught you. Those of you laughing, you know it's because you do it. Okay. The other thing I do want to mention, this is 100% the devil's vortex. We all fall into it. So I do want to mention it to you. Please, whatever you do, try not to open your email first thing in the morning. Yes, I know because we all struggle with it. We have ladies who get here for the 6 a.m. session at 5:45. For the love of all things holy, do you have to read your email at 5:45 in the morning? Oh, it's horrible. And we all do it. I'm just bringing this up because I'm like, I'm going to use that as an opportunity to encourage everybody tonight. That just sends you into OPA, other people's agendas. Don't do it. Don't do it. Put one of the things that would work towards your banner goals, like reading, like praying, like, I don't know, looking at your bank account and working on your budget, whatever it is. Just don't do the email first thing. Okay. We have like what, 25 people to hold you accountable, 30 people right here. And by the way, I have you on picture. I have you on video. This is proof right here. I went, all of you. We all need to do it. Okay. So I just want to bring that up because I know that's one thing that everybody struggles with. Okay. I mean, texting, Facebook, all of that is in the same vortex. Okay. All right. Last thing, okay, last thing on this, okay, is the three big musts. Okay, the three big musts before we get into the habit tracker. So the three big musts are, out of all those priorities, okay, of each one, if basically you do not go to sleep on Sunday night without doing these three things. Okay? So you have to pick out of all the things that you just wrote, and you got to pick what are those three things. It might be, man, I really want to work on my personal development. So I am not going to sleep unless I pick the book I'm listening to or reading Monday morning. Okay? Or I'm not going to sleep until I prep my 3 meals that I said I was going to do. 10 o'clock at night, crap, I don't have anything to eat tomorrow. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to bed until I do it. Okay, does that make sense? That moves the needle. That gives you that momentum, that moves you forward. It doesn't have to be hard. Small, seemingly insignificant habits over time are going to reap exponential results. So don't let yourself do that. Do not let yourself go to bed and you look down, you're like, crap, I didn't do any of those things. Well, guess what? You're not going to bed. Do it. Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. And you'll be so proud of yourself. And then you've got momentum. Okay? You've got momentum. Okay. So now the habit tracker. The habit tracker. So this is a way to keep you focused. This is basically the thing. And by the way, we're going to send everybody the soft copy so you can print 1 million of these. Okay? This is the way to keep you moving day after day after day. Okay. What you do is you take it from those 3 musts. Okay. Again, because of the overachievers, there's a 4th row in there, as you see. From your 3 musts, what is a habit? Okay. What is a habit that you can track? Okay. From those priorities. For example, let's go back to the weight loss goal, and your goal is you want to exercise, let's just say 3 times a week. Okay. We put in there the behavior, the action. It's basically the habit. Exercise 3 times a week. Okay. The goal at the end is 3, right? And all you do, you need to keep it somewhere that it's visible. And again, you can use something else. You can use a paper calendar. This is just a tool, but you can use something like this. Put it on a paper calendar, on your phone, whatever you need, whatever works for you. You're not a paper person, if you use an app, whatever, but use something to track your habits, okay? So you mark it 3 times. Achieved at the end, yay, 3, okay? The net was, smiley face. You did it perfectly. Maybe you did 2, so net is -1. Maybe you did 4, so net is +1, okay? But you are tracking your habits here, all right? So another example would be reading, right? So maybe it's the number of pages. That's an easy one, right? How many pages did you read? All right, so you can do that. Like maybe it's Maybe it's, for me, it would be like 2 pages, right? Maybe every other day or something like that. Okay. So at the end of the week, it's 4, and you can see, right? I just check it off, or how many pages you read. Okay. Um, Here's a good one. Like, let's say it's your finances. Okay. You're working on that debt payoff. A big one is maybe you're going to Starbucks like every day, spending over $6 on a latte, right? Do the math. That adds up. That could be at the end of a month, that could be a substantial payment towards that credit card you want to pay off. All right. So maybe it's that you're going to drop it down to 3 times a week rather than 5 or 6 or whatever it is. Okay. So you put, okay, Starbucks 3 times a week. And so then you track it. You guys have the idea, right? That part, you guys, is the key to this whole thing, honestly. Okay. That is the key, because that is weekly habit tracking. It's measurable. It's in front of your face every week. You're like, oh my gosh, I sucked at my sleep this week. Okay, I'm going to do it again next week. And you keep working at it, and you keep working at it, and you keep working at it. And week by week, you do get better. You do get better, and you see that momentum week by week. But as I don't remember this guy's name, but he would say the easiest things to do are the easiest things not to do. How easy is this? Is it pretty easy? Right? You could do it on your phone. You could do it on a hanging calendar. You could do it with a piece of paper. You can do it a tally, like whatever you need. But the easiest things to do are the easiest things not to do. It's just as easy to not do it, isn't it? Right? Okay. Last part. This is a little review. And this is what we're also going to share with accountability partner. So here's the review. Wins. You always want to start with what you did well. We do that in our coaching. All right. We sit down with our gal. Okay. What did you do well these last 3 months, this year? Oh, I didn't make it in as much as I could. I didn't lose the weight I want. Like, we always lean to what we didn't achieve. So I don't know why. That's just our brains tend to be wired that way. That's what I've seen. So that's why this forces all of us to focus on, what did I do well? Even if I had the crappiest week, did I brush my teeth every morning and every night? I mean, there's something. Did you have any kind of win? There's always something good, right? Always. So what are your wins? You write in your wins. Now, I actually have changed this next piece with my family. We actually do this every night. Those of you who have kids, who have teens, who have young adults living with you, if you want to talk, I'm happy to share the progress that this has helped. We had side note, we had I actually have 2 redheaded stepchildren, and they moved in with us, both of them, for over a year now. They've been living with us. So I went from part-time mom to full-time mom. It's a big transition. And they have a lot of trauma. And so I've used a very simplified thing to help them with their habits, starting from basic, like literally hygiene, like basic stuff. And they're 18 and 20. And so at the end of they do a tracker every week. And at 8 o'clock every night, today it's 8:30 because I'm here, we call them wins and learns. So what did you win? How did you win this week? How did you learn? We do wins, learns, and gratitude. So in case you might like that better, basically scratch out losses and just put learns. And then you don't need to do the lessons one. And that makes it even simpler for you. So that's one thing I thought, I should change that. That'll be 2025. I guess I'll change it. So you could do wins and learns, super easy. And if you want to put gratitude instead on that 3rd section, you could do that. Okay. In fact, I think I'm going to change it. When I send you the soft copy, I'll change it. Okay. Wins, learns, gratitude. So here it is. Okay, wins. All right. Like, I haven't read in a month and I read 10 pages this week. Woo! That would be a big win. Or I eradicated 2 pounds my first week. I stopped eating all those Christmas cookies. Okay. Yeah. So anybody still have those in their house? No, don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. Especially if you're a misfit, don't raise your hand because you'll pay for that later. Okay. So, learns. Okay. Maybe you got sick and you didn't exercise this week. Okay. That happens. That happens to all of us. We get totally derailed because we get sick. Maybe you gain 2 pounds because you have so many social things. You're like, oh my gosh, that was so frustrating. And they had crappy food every time, So what did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn from that? Maybe it is perhaps that, I need to have grace. If I'm sick, I just get back right on. Do you want to do burpees? Okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's wins, learns, gratitude. Yeah. Um, so or maybe, you gain the 2 pounds, you're like, I don't know, I tried to eat, but then you're like, you know what? I'm eating a lot of sweets late at night. Okay. So what did you learn? It's not a lot, it's a learn. What are you gonna do differently next time? Okay. So does that make sense? The reflection is super important. Super important. I really encourage you to do it. And then of course, gratitude, right? Because sometimes we've all had it. We have the worst weeks. You're like, could I just not let's just pretend that week didn't happen. All right. And let's start. We've had those, right? Your family sucks, you got sick, you're just mad at everybody. Like, a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Well, I had a sucky family thing this last weekend. So I'm like, let's start over. Okay. Yeah, I get it. We all have been through that. So you got to focus on gratitude. So that way you start the following week going like, okay, deep breath, my life is not, a lot of people have it worse than me. It's a new page, it's a new week, we're going to do this thing over. So that's why it's important to end with gratitude. All right. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm going to send you the soft copy. It's really important to rewrite this every week, the banner goals. I know it might seem like a lot, but honestly, if you set your timer and you do it, this will take you like 10 minutes, It doesn't take you very long. Finish the laundry while you're watching the show and then do that, okay? It will not take you very long. But the importance of writing it is, I don't know about you, but you ever written your goals and then go in a drawer and you don't look at it for the rest of the year? It's important to there is actually a lot of studies. The latest study I read was that you're 1,000 times more likely to achieve your goal just by writing it down. What if you write it down every week? Week after week after week, right? So I'm going to leave you, before we get into the accountability piece of this, I do want to share a quote. So this is by Darren Hardy, who developed Living Your Best Year Ever. He says, you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. Secret of your success is found in your daily routine, which this is all built on. Okay. So I wish you guys a super successful start to this year. We are here for you. I love this. So those of you in L3, you've got me on Facebook. You can have my contact info when you leave. Mrs. Obviously, you know how to reach me. The coaches, I wanted them here tonight so that they had this. So now they have the training so that they can help you. Okay. Now, we're going to break up into a little bit of accountability pairing just for a few minutes, okay, so that we can share and so you can find somebody we can connect you with. I'm going to let you go, Christy. I'm going to let you go. And, ladies online watching this replay, and we're going to be doing a follow-up next Thursday to make sure everybody has accountability partners and those who are watching this video have a chance to watch it, okay? All right. So we will see you later. Thank you.